As you're sitting here, you have certain thoughts, certain expectations. How many of us here are parents? Okay. How many of us here are students? I love it. Um, at some point, as a parent, you will have certain expectations on your children, right? And you've never communicated them. You want them to be brilliant. You want them to be intelligent, to be these people who go after life and do so many things. But have you told them? I see some nods. We probably all have friends. How many of you have been disappointed by your friends? Right? And it's all natural, we think. And there is no way for us to avoid disappointment. So we, at this stage, are less disappointed by ourselves than by others. People will disappoint us. From family to friends to children to other students to colleagues, they will disappoint us. But what is it about them that disappoints us? It's not really their conduct, than it is about what we expect of them. And if you think about it, even in relationships, there are certain expectations that we have. And those expectations, we have either communicated them or we haven't, but we expect the other person to fulfill them. So what do? A couple who's staying together, they're married, both of them are working, they come home, the husband or the boyfriend sits on the couch, he expects the woman to get to the kitchen because women belong in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant. So she must get to the kitchen and make food for him and bring it to him while he's kind of scrolling through the TV. But then she goes to the bedroom, changes, comes back, he's sitting there, she's thinking, how, what's going on? He says, but I'm expecting you to do the food. And then she says, well, we both come from work, we're both tired. Who do you expect to do the food if not you? Okay, let's order out, but who's going to pay? None of that has been communicated, but you both expect it from each other. And none of you have communicated that prior. And so there you are, probably one of you will get to the kitchen, make themselves food, and probably sit there grumpy. The whole evening is wasted, or the whole day is wasted. Why? Because of expectations that were not communicated. So I would like to put to you that we have two kinds of expectations. We have active and passive expectations. The active expectations are those that we communicate, or rather, that we tell. I expect you sitting there to be looking at me, focusing on me, and not on your phone. Right? It's an expectation I have, but have I communicated that? So when I see you now on your phone or you're busy scribbling away, I am angry. And you don't understand why I'm picking on you. But I'm angry. And you think this guy really doesn't like me. He's got it in for me. Those are passive expectations. You enroll at a university. The expectation as a student is that the university will give you a certain level of education. And as our previous speaker has just alluded, there are other opportunities that we can grab from being in a university environment. But that is an uncommunicated expectation that there are other opportunities. In a relationship, there is a contract that exists. I'm going to be with you, and you're going to be with me. We're going to get married at some point, but we don't communicate that. When we get married, we sign a contract. The contract says we are now husband and wife. But there's another passive expectation that has not been communicated. You will not cheat. If you cheat, I'm out the door. Or you will not have another relationship outside of this one. You will not have intimacy with somebody else. But we've not communicated that. So it's an expectation. It's passive. Active expectations, you sign as an employee a performance agreement to say, I will deliver this according to these standards. And when I've signed this, your line manager expects you to perform according to those expectations. But how often do we really understand the implications of active expectations? When we've said it or when we think we've communicated it, and then we get to that part where somebody is failing to fulfill that expectation. And we're angry. But I told you that on my birthday, I want a gift and I want to be taken to the Maldives. And you have failed. Now I'm disappointed and I'm angry at you. We all have those. But what if, again, that expectation is upon family? Oh, and family easily disappoints us. Think about it. I can be your friend and I can disappoint you. You can be more understanding than if it was your brother, your sister, or your mother, or your father, or the famous Bomalume. They easily step on your toes. And it's all because we have uncommunicated expectations. But what if there's a magic wand for us to deal with expectations and the resultant disappointments? Does it exist? Is it there? I would like to say it exists. And there's a way for us to deal with it. And that way is we need to manage our own expectations. How we communicate them. Is it our sole responsibility to see those expectations fulfilled? What do we do when somebody has disappointed us? Do we have the right to feel disappointment? Is it the disappointment that is hurting, or is it the expectation? Are our expectations too high? When you have failed as an employee, when you have failed in a relationship to fulfill a certain expectation, what then happens? You have to sit down. Let's reevaluate this expectation that we have. If we have fought earlier and none of us end up eating that night, we have to get back to saying, what expectations did you have? And how can we, not you, how can we fulfill each other's expectations? What is it that we can do so that we are not disappointed next time? What is it that we can do so that when I see that you are not coming to the party, I can assist so that we are not disappointed and the relationship is not hindered? If you think about it, when we are children, we have parents putting expectations on us. As earlier parents said so, that they do have expectation on their children. But then as we grow, those expectations change. We now have those expectations on our children. Society has imposed expectations on us, but we become the society that imposes expectations on others. We need to reevaluate our expectations. Are our expectations realistic? Are they fair? Are they selfish? What can we do about them? So the next time you find yourself disappointed, instead of lashing out, take a step back. Why am I feeling this way? Did this person understand my expectation of them? Did they agree? Or do I need to remove this particular expectation from them? This friend of mine, whom I'm expecting to take me to the Maldives every year, can I just not expect them to celebrate my birthday? So that if and when they do celebrate it, I'm not disappointed. And I believe that we need to have an air of expectancy in our relationships. The fact that we are here and we may become friends, it means that at some point certain things will happen. So that hope will spring eternal. But it does not mean that I have a strong belief that tomorrow or today you will call me. But when you do, I'm very joyous of that. Thank you.